Well, good morning. I guess we can get started. My name is Cecil Pendergrass. I'm currently the chair this year for the Board of County Commissioners. So you'll be seeing me for the next year. It's great to be back again. I'm looking forward to this next year with this group. And if I could please start out with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. We have a roll call, please. Here.
Present.
Here.
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 Brian Kramer.
Here.
Mayor Holly Smith, Fran Myers, Pamela Cronin, and Bill Washington are excused. We do have a quorum.
Great. We got a few absent today, but we'll go through this, and it's going to be a good day. And we have Jason here today. We have the presentation of the guest first participants earning the American Hotel and Lodging Institutions certificate.
Good morning, Council, Commissioner. My name is Jason Glasscock. I'm the Visitor Service Supervisor, and I'm here to recognize our 2021 Fall Guest First CGSP graduates. We did have 22 graduates that got through the program in a session that kind of got thrown together. Great exams, and unfortunately, not everyone's able to be here. I actually got a very short presentation. I only have 3 of my graduates here today. So, as Commissioner Pamela, one of y'all would like to, I'm going to give one of you the certificates to hand, and then one of you can do pins as well. And I will. And as I call your name, just please come up and get your certificate and your pin. My first person we're going to bring up is from Lee County Parks and Rec, Megan Mahoney. Lee County Port Authority, Jeannie Dell'Agostino. And then lastly, our very own from the Lee County Visitor Convention Bureau, Benicia Toller. Yeah. So that kind of concludes my presentation. We are conducting guests first now as well. So if you have anybody that would like to sign up, please go to our website and sign them up. Thank you for your time. Oh, thank you.
A little bit shorter than last year. Great. So next we can need approval of the December 8, 2021 TDC meeting minutes. So we have a motion. Any second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Any discussion on those minutes? Okay. Any objection? No objection. Motion carries. And we have now we have public comment. Any public would like to be heard at this time? It's quiet this morning. Okay, we have next will be special presentation, United Way presentation, Jeannie Joy and Tony Lopping.
Want to do the municipalities or not?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, any municipalities here to be heard? It's so quiet this morning. Come on up. Good morning, Sandoval.
Morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the council. My name is Dana Souza. I'm the city manager for Sanibel, and I'm pleased to be here, and I wanted to introduce myself to all of you. I know that my predecessor, Judy Zamamra, had a strong presence here at TDC over her 20 years of tenure with the city, and I hope to follow in her footsteps and have the same presence here with you. Mayor Smith isn't able to be here today. On behalf of her and members of City Council, we're grateful for the funds that we get every year. You know, we receive over $2 million, which supports our beach operations, and we're very grateful for that. So, again, I wanted to say hello, and I look forward to working with you all.
Great, thank you. Welcome aboard. Morning, Councilwoman.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you all for having me. My name is Gloria Rasso Tate. I'm a city council member for District 1 in Cape Coral, and we have agreed as a council to start coming back to our meetings, to your meetings, and paying close attention to what's going on in Lee County. I served on this board for 9.5 years, so I do know the drill, and I'm really excited to see the progress that you all have made over the years. And certainly, thank you for all that you've done for Cape Coral. We look forward to working together again. So have a great day.
Thank you. Any other municipalities like to be heard? That's correct? Okay. We'll just give it to Holly anyway if we see her. Any other cities like to be heard? Okay, we'll go to the next item, which is be the special presentation, United Way presentation. Look at Tony at the podium, all right.
I'm going to let Janine go first. Janine's our executive director for the United Way. How many years have you been with the United Way?
26.
26. She was a baby when she started. Go ahead, Janine, first.
Thank you. I'm here to say thank you, number one, for everything that you do for our community. But I'm also here to share with you some of the things that we can do to help your employees, your associates, and the community at large. As you can see up here, who loves taxes? Everybody loves working with the IRS, right? United Way has a program called VITA. It's our Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program. We prepare and file taxes for free for households of $66,000 or less. And these are IRS-trained volunteers. They are experts in the Earned Income Tax Credit. They will maximize people's refunds. At minimum, you're going to pay $300 to go get your taxes prepared somewhere. Why do that when we can do it through our Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program? We have convenient locations all over Lee County. There's also, you can go to myfreetaxes.com and prepare your taxes that way as well. But it's a great program. Last year, almost $10 million came back to our community in refunds. We prepared over 6,000 refunds for free in our community. So this is something that, who wouldn't love to give their employees $300, right? Basically, that's what you're doing. You're at least doing that, putting more dollars back into their pockets and making sure that their families are thriving. So please make sure you share this information. There are some rack cards here. We'll also leave some extras over here. If you need more, just contact our office and you can get them into your employees. And then the next slide that we have is our United Way 211. Anybody familiar with it? A few of you. Okay, great. United Way 211 is an information and referral service hotline. And what we do is we serve kind of as that point place in the community. So when you have a need or your employees have a need, they call and we connect them with the services that are available. It's a great way for people to find out, not have to spin their wheels and figure out where do I go to get help. And it's not just something where maybe I'm out of food or something like that. Maybe you're dealing with an aging parent and you're looking for somewhere to help with that. You need some respite. Maybe you just want a counseling group. You've lost a loved one. We can connect you to that. 211 is a great program. We also partner with EOC, and in times of natural disasters, hurricanes, pandemics, you name it, we become the hotline. And so our operators also take those calls. So please make sure that you are sharing this information with your employees, your associates, people who you know may be in need. United Way is here for everyone in our community. Tony?
Okay. That was the soft hand. Now comes the hard hand. I'm going to talk a little bit about money and about employee campaigns. I think what you need to start an employee campaign, you need purpose. And purpose to me is what drives me with my employees and stuff. And there was a quote out there. It says, "Service is to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth." And I think that spells it out perfectly what the purpose and what United Way does. How does it start? It starts with leadership at the top. It talks about we have to have a commitment. You have to have trust and belief. And the trust that I have in the United Way, I've been serving on the board for 25 years. I would not be on that board for that long a time if I didn't trust and have belief in what they do. Our United Way is probably one of the best in the country for its size, if not for anybody, for that matter. 4-star Charity Navigator rated, and you got a rating of 100, is that correct?
We have a perfect score of 100 on transparency.
And how many people usually get that award?
It's less than, I think, 3%.
Less than 3%. So that's a big shout out to the staff that we have. Just like our VCB staff here, our United Way staff works tirelessly all the time. So how do you start a campaign and how do you do it? Well, our people will help you. But if you do simple math, $1 per week per employee equals $52. If you have 100 employees, it's $5,200 a year. And what employee that you go to will not give $1 a week? I mean, they stop and spend, what, how many on lottery tickets and different things like that? Just ask them to give up a lottery ticket now and then. It's an easy ask, believe me when I tell you. And you will be humbled by the amount of people who give money more than I'm expected that they give. I mean, I have some of my grounds people who will be giving as much as $5 a week. And there is no pressure on it. We have people that don't give anything. But it's the ask that you have to do. And our staff at the United Way will be more than happy to help you with that. And I want to reach out, especially, I'm going to point the finger a little bit at hospitality. Publix gives how much? $1.4 million a year. That's their employees. And I'm just puzzled by why hospitality can't get on board and do something like that. You have to, it takes a little bit of effort, I understand that, but I think it's so important that you do that. So I just think that it's something we ought to do to help make our goal. And I will say one last thing. It may not start right away, but if leadership is there and it starts, it will snowball, and you will find that year after year, more and more employees will give, and they will find out what all the services that we can provide, not just these, but plenty of services. So thank you for your time. I hope that we can make our goal this year with everybody's effort, whether you're in hospitality or not. If you have a business, we'll be happy to help you start an employee campaign. So anytime, thank you for your time, everybody.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Ginny.
Thanks, Janine.
Yeah, the United Way has been a great partner in Lee County over the years, for as long as I live here, but the last few years with things happening, like with Irma 3 years ago, we saw how we come together as a community and work together, and we needed and use all resources within the community. So again, thank you for everything you're doing here. And I know Lee County is very active in the campaign too, so thank you. Okay, next we are going to hear Pamela. So because Tamara's not here with us today, which is kind of odd, but she's not here. But we're here, and so Pamela's going to give us a report of the Executive Director.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning, Council and everybody. It's very good to be here. And yes, Tam does send her best regards for today. So we'll start with the bed tax collection for November 2021. And just a spoiler alert, all of the information I'm sharing today is very, very good news. So you'll probably get a little tired of hearing me say how great everything is. So for the month of November, close to $4 million was collected, and that's a 48% increase over 2019. I will refer a lot to 2019 because although 2020, we do that year-over-year comparison, but as we know what 2020 was, and so we are really looking at the 2019 numbers as our benchmark. Our bed tax year to date is $7.4 million, which I think is a pretty good start, 49% increase over 2019. STAR report continues to be very good. Occupancy, as you can see, almost 72%, and ADR, which is average daily rate, up almost 19%. So, and we're also doing very good on RevPAR, revenue per available room. Key Data, as you know, Key Data is the company that we work with who is tracking our vacation rental data in the area. And as you know, again, vacation rentals are very, very strong. And if you could look at that number, as far as occupancy compared to the previous slide, lodging occupancy, it's lower, but look at that ADR, whereas the slide before was $151, the average daily rate, and this is $194. So vacation rentals continues to be a very strong player, not only in our community, but globally. RSW, well, they're just killing it. I saw Ben yesterday at the St. Cap Chamber meeting, and I think by the time December rolls around, he's going to have some really great information to share. But again, almost 1 million passengers through RSW for the month of November. And again, year to date, I think this is the, big news that Ben will share for December. So again, very, very good. Although it looks like just a small increase over 2019, again, those year-to-date numbers are very impressive. All right, so in terms of the Visit Florida update, so we have about a 5-minute presentation from Dana Young. We asked Dana to give us an update on the legislative session, which began this week. Dana's message includes a meaningful plan for what's going to happen, what we hope to happen for this session, as well as a longer-term plan for reauthorization of Visit Florida. Not sure if you remember, but Visit Florida, it sunsets in October of 2023. So we really want to start seeing a longer-term plan, and also not have to go up to Tallahassee and beg for Visit Florida continuously. So let's hear from Dana.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dana Young, President and CEO of Visit Florida. Though I can't be there in person, I'm glad for the opportunity today to connect with you virtually at your meeting. As you know, tourism is Florida's most important industry, and Visit Florida is absolutely integral for its success. Our work has never been more important than it is today as we continue recovering from the economic fallout of COVID-19. After capping off a solid decade of record visitation in 2019, we saw those numbers dramatically decline by nearly 40% in 2020, with international visitation down well over 90%. Over the past 18 months, Visit Florida's marketing campaigns have helped propel tourism far beyond those dark days. Q3 2021 marked not only the second consecutive quarter of domestic visitation growth, but the first time overall visitation has surpassed pre-pandemic levels. This is an absolutely incredible achievement and a direct result of the tireless efforts of Visit Florida and all of our DMO partners like you across the state, working to get our industry back on track. But while these numbers are impressive, our work is by no means over, and it is important that Visit Florida continue the momentum we have created. We are very grateful that Governor DeSantis has recommended a $50 million budget for Visit Florida for the upcoming fiscal year. This legislative session, we are also working to extend our sunset date. I know it seems like just yesterday that we were here for the same reason. It does. But the sunset date in statute is 2023, which is right around the corner. It's time to move beyond year-to-year and short-term renewals and enact a meaningful long-term reauthorization so that we can effectively plan for the future and focus on the critical work needed to fully restore our economy. As I said, Visit Florida is scheduled to sunset in 2023 unless we act. Visit Florida has been reviewed 3 times in as many years, and during my tenure, it has shown itself to be transparent, accountable, and very successful at producing excellent results for the taxpayers of Florida. We have bills filed in both chambers, House Bill 489 in the House by Representative Linda Cheney, and Senate Bill 434 in the Senate by Senator Ed Hooper. If this legislation passes, Visit Florida would be extended to a minimum of 2028. The time-sensitive urgency of our recovery necessitates long-range strategic planning and certainty for our tourism industry partners. This sunset provision could limit Visit Florida's ability to meet the needs of our tourism industry effectively. Whether state-managed public-private partnership is currently set for expiration. Spending time and resources ensuring our organization's survival is counterproductive to recovery efforts and Visit Florida's mission. Additionally, retaining and recruiting talent remains challenging with the ongoing threat of closure looming. The pandemic has led to a new level of realization and recognition of the vital role tourism plays in the success of our economy. This crisis has demonstrated the value and economic activity created by Florida tourism industry and Visit Florida. You and our other DMO partners around the state know firsthand how important our work is and the positive impact we have on every single Florida family, business, and job. Based on a report released by Florida's Office of Economic and Demographic Research in 2021, for every dollar spent on Visit Florida, the state of Florida receives $3.27 back in tax revenue. This is the highest return on investment that has ever been calculated for Visit Florida. We more than triple the state's investment, which I think we can all agree is a deal we would take any day of the week. As a Visit Florida partner and member of Florida's tourism industry, I encourage you to get involved with this year's Tourism Day and tell your legislators that now is the right time to eliminate the uncertainty about Visit Florida, one of the most successful economic development programs in the state's history. Let's work together this session to secure the future of Visit Florida and show our lawmakers once and for all that we are not something that Florida can ever afford to lose. I hope you have a great meeting today, and I look forward to seeing you at Florida Tourism Day. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Next week, I know several DMOs, FRLA, and a host of other hospitality and attractions businesses are going up to Tallahassee for Florida Tourism Day. I don't think they've had it since 2019. I don't believe, well, no, 2020 in January was the last one. But I also know the chambers, there's a separate day for the chambers and actually a separate day for attractions. But everyone will, this will be something on everyone's mind, and talking to our local delegation about the importance of tourism and the importance of Visit Florida. All right. So now we'll move forward with staff reports, and our first report is from Jill Vance, our sales director.
Good morning, Council. I'm Jill Vance, Director of Sales, and here's a recap of our first quarter results of our new fiscal year sales goals. We are off to a great start. We are off to a great start with meeting leads. As you can see, we are ahead of pace. We are behind pace for the number of FAM attendees to the destination because we did have to reschedule 2 winter FAMs for the spring, but we'll make it up then. Also, we are behind pace for the number of wedding leads sent. Although this is a pretty aggressive goal, I am optimistic because right now, between Christmas and Valentine's Day is when many couples get engaged, as we all know, and we are already seeing an increase in wedding leads. And for the remaining 3 goals, we are in relatively good shape. Okay, group media. Here are just a few examples from last quarter. For meetings media, on the right is an advertorial and print ad in the IMEX section of the Corporate and Incentive Travel Meetings magazine. This is a new publication for us, and it has about 40,000 subscribers. We also sent a PDF version of this piece with our IMEX appointment invitations, and that resulted in a full appointment book for the show. For travel trade media, on the right is one of the print ads and advertorials for Travel Weekly in their Florida Plus section, which we ran in conjunction with a presentation that Jennifer did on their Florida Plus live webinar. And on the left, for our weddings media, is our mobile interstitial ad with a key weddings. What is an interstitial ad, you ask? I had to ask the same thing. It's actually like a pop-up ad. It's a form of interruption marketing that usually receives a high response rate. This particular ad received almost 625,000 impressions since it went live at the end of October. Here's the group sales team's activities for last quarter. On the right is Jerry and Marwan Haddad, who is the Director of Sales with the Westin. He was our co-op partner at the IMEX America show in Las Vegas. There were over 3,400 meeting planners in attendance. In addition to the one-on-one appointments that they had, they also conducted 2 client events. And so far, leads totaling over 4,600 room nights have been already sent to our hotel partners as a direct result of this show. Some travel trade activities. On the right is Shelley promoting the destination at the Travel and Adventure Show in San Francisco. There were about 4,400 attendees, of whom showed a lot of interest in the new United Airlines direct flights that began last month. It turns out that quite a few travelers had already visited our area, either as a pre or post cruise or theme park visit, but the majority had not, and they seemed very interested in traveling here. Next are the upcoming activities for the domestic sales team. For January, I just want to highlight that Aaron will be attending the Visit Florida, Florida Encounter Show, and Charm Evans for the international market will be attending the Florida Huddle Show. These shows will be held concurrently this year, and they will be meeting one-on-one with qualified meeting planners who have business in Florida, along with international tour operators and wholesalers. And in February, I just want to point out one, Betsy will be attending the PCMA Meeting Planner Client event in New York City, along with conducting some sales calls. And finally, for March, I just want to comment on the shows that are new to us. Betsy will be attending the Independent Planner Education Conference, which is a hosted by our show exclusive to independent meeting planners that are not affiliated with any third-party organizations like Helms Briscoe or Conference Direct. And they're typically hard to reach, so we're really looking forward to the results. And then Candace will be attending the Smurf Express show. And just a reminder that SMURF is an acronym for Social, Military, Education, Religious, and Fraternal Markets. So this is the first show of its kind, and there will be one-on-one appointments. However, in order to maximize interactions, there will be team building activities, there'll be a community service project, and evening networking events that will focus on building relationships, which we all know is crucial to the sales process. And finally, Shelley will be attending the Travel and Adventure Show in LA to promote the destination and keep those United and Alaska Airline direct flights from LAX full. Okay, for international. We all know that on November 8th, the US borders were open, but travel requirements have since changed. Starting on December 6th, all the air passengers must have a negative COVID test taken no more than 1 day, 24 hours prior to their travel to the United States, along with proof of vaccination. And finally, I want to highlight that last quarter, TAM and our UK contractor attended the Brand USA Travel Week show and met one-on-one with 38 European travel representatives. And as you can see in the picture, TAM was also a panel speaker at one of the education sessions. Are there any questions before I turn it over to Simone, who will update you on our visitor services activities?
Tony has a question.
Yes.
Tony?
Oh, I'm sorry. Hi, Tony.
I had one of our guests from International who came over, and they stayed probably like 2 weeks with us and had to fly back, and they had to have their test 72 hours prior to leaving. is what they said. By the time they landed back in Ireland, the test had to be within 72 hours. So they had to go get the test, and they had to have the results done fairly quickly. And as it turned out, they ended up paying $300 per person to have that test. And to me, somewhere along the line, somebody was either taking advantage of that situation, or there was just the way the whole thing came about. So, you know, with 5 people, another $1,500. And I thought that was kind of rough to, you know, as a tough, you know. The good news is they've been coming to the inn for a long time, so I know them, but he just felt that that was just kind of the way it was. And just, I didn't know if there was any way we can put any kind of influence on that to not have that kind of a surprise.
Yeah, Tony, that's a very good point. And yeah, definitely when you're traveling back home overseas, I know the UK has some very strict, I mean, it's like not only when you land, but, you know, 48 hours after that, there has to be another test. We have placed resources on our website, and we've been talking to a lot of tour operators. It does sound like, since you said that these are regular guests for you, maybe, you know, they didn't get that information, but we have placed information on testing sites around the area, and, you know, if there are fees involved, or anything like that. So I'd be happy to, I think it sounds like we need to make sure we're sharing that information with the lodging partners. But absolutely, it's very, and these testing timeframes have been changing so much, it's a little difficult to kind of keep up, but we're trying to stay on top of it. Yes, Rob?
On that note, I mean, we traveled, and for those of you around the table that have traveled internationally through all of this, to a location where I was surprised at how much sort of better dialed in they had it than we do in the United States. They knew when our flights were going to leave, and somebody was at the hotel, and you just, you know, they gave you a time, you went in, they gave you the test at the hotel, and then you were just good to go. They emailed you the negative results. When you went to the airport, you had them. So I think we've got a long ways to go. Yeah, I don't know if there's resources to put towards it, but it would, for those of you that really take care of a lot of international travelers, we don't on our properties as much, but boy, I tell you, it makes it a lot better travel experience if all of that's seamless, you know. Thought.
Yeah, and we were able to get some information too from the Hyatt. I know for groups, there are companies that will come right out to the hotel and help the attendees when they're before they have to be at the airport, and you know, as far as the time frame for testing. So, yeah.
We have a group in house now. They're arriving yesterday and today, and a lot of them are coming from different destinations that require it. And there'll be the testing company comes into the hotel, and they'll be testing 250 people on Saturday at my hotel. I'll test them when they get there before their meeting starts, and then they're going to come back and test them when their meeting ends. And so they do it right at the property. There's a cost associated with it.
Yeah, I was wondering what that charge was.
It's affordable. It's not over the top. It's not the $300 a person to do. But this is the second time I've done it with them, where they've come in. They did it for a group prior that had a couple of hundred attendees, and it worked out fantastic. It's that same experience that you're talking about. So there are resources for it that we shared, and I can forward that information on too.
We'll make sure to share that information.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jill. Simone Bear with Visitor Services.
Good morning, Council. Good morning, Commissioner. Very happy to be here this morning to report on visitor services. Our first quarter, October through December, was very busy at the airport. Our volunteers assisted 61,605 visitors. They worked 5,593 volunteer hours at a value of $159,624. We gave out 11,496 travel guides and sent 1,800 brochures to the Visit Florida Welcome Centers. The top 3 requests during that time period in terms of accommodations was the Wyndham Garden on Fort Myers Beach, Drury Inn at the airport, as well as the Holiday Inn Express at the airport. Attractions, top request is aside from the beaches, was Ding Darling National Wildlife Refuge, Edison and Fort Winter Estates, as well as Mound House. And for attractions, this is aside from shopping, the top requests were shelling, golfing, boat cruises, and of course, many others. Visitor services staff and volunteers were busy in various community and partner support events. Some of the highlights, we had volunteers helping with Roy Hobbs World Series Baseball, as well as Fort Myers Tip-Off Classic. We presented at the Bicycle Pedestrian Coordinating Committee. We had Jason Glasscock, who you all met this morning, dressed up as a manatee one day in December for wearing a Santa hat and a Santa jacket, and greeted visitors at RSW. He was a very big hit, and then he was at the Edison and Fort Winter Estates that night. So I think people took a lot of pictures. It was very fun and memorable. Our volunteers also greeted the 2 inaugural United Airlines flights that came in December from San Francisco and Los Angeles. Very excited to have them. Also, during that time period, our volunteers attended quite a number of destination education training sessions. We were at the Marriott Santa Barbara Resort, at the Mound House, Players Circle Theater, Bailey Matthews Shell Museum, Home 2 Suites, and Hampton Inn on Colonial. We had a behind-the-scenes airport tour. We're at the Caloosahatchee Regional Park, Homewood Suites at Bell Tower, as well as Crown Plaza, Fast Tracks, and Manatee Park. So we want to thank all of our industry partners for hosting our volunteers. They learned a lot, which they're obviously sharing with the traveling public at RSW. Looking ahead, our volunteers have started working what we call the early morning and the evening shift. So throughout the year, our shifts run from 10 to 6, but from January to mid-April, we add additional shifts. We have an early morning shift that starts at 7:30 a.m. I'm amazed, they're there at the airport, and the evening shift goes all the way to 9 o'clock. We're hoping to help at spring training baseball information booths at both stadiums in February and March. On April 6th will be our 32nd annual Volunteer Tourism Ambassador Appreciation Luncheon. All TDC members are invited. We hope that you'll all be able to join us and you'll receive your invitations. The 2022 Lee County Travel Rally is taking place at Lakes Park on May 3rd, and we hope that everybody will be able to be a part of this really awesome event. That's it from me. Are there any questions? If not, I'll pass it on to Jackie Parker for the communications report.
Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year. My name is Jackie Parker, and today I'm filling in for Communications Director Francesca Donlin. So let's get started with the communications update. For our first quarter, our media impressions are strong, just right at just over 1 billion. That puts us on track for later this year to achieve our goal of just over 3 billion media impressions. Moving on to coverage. Some of our top-tier coverage includes Condé Nast Traveler, Parade Magazine, MSN, New York Post. But what I want to talk about a little more is our local coverage. We have a column, Tam writes a column in Go Coastal. That's the Fort Myers News Press newspaper, and that appears every other week. And we also have coverage in Florida Weekly, which is every other week as well. And I want to talk just quickly about the last item here, Share the Beach. That was in the News Press, I believe, last week. And that is it's just a great way to let residents know about what we're doing here at the VCB. And this story in particular was just a great way to remind residents and visitors on distancing with wildlife and ways that we can protect and preserve our coastlines. Moving on to top projects. Shelley Krant was in Vermont in October representing us at the Outdoor Writers Association of America's annual conference. Shelley herself, as many of you know, is an excellent outdoors person. Her fishing is just unparalleled, and so she's a great representative for us at these events. In October also was our coastal distancing FAM, and that was at South Seas Resort. We had 8 writers in town representing publications such as Tampa Bay Magazine, Huffington Post, and Yoga Digest. And our Midwest Travel Journalists Association Fall Conference. All the credit in the world goes to my colleague Annie Banyan for planning this event. It was an all hands on deck. We were, the writers, about 40 journalists, were at Sundial, and we took them on pre-excursions and post-excursions and FAM's little press trips all around the area while they were here that week. And this was, when you think about this was in October, and this was probably one of the first times many of these journalists had been out since the pandemic. So, and it was just a great event, and all thanks to Annie. Recently, in December, we had a few writers here for the from internationally, international individual press trips. That's what it says, right? So Miriam Dotson, my colleague, was hosting Marina Jimenez of Canadian Geographic Magazine, and she was here and showed her around downtown Fort Myers. And I got the opportunity to work with Jürgen Drenzik, host of German TV show What to Travel With, and we took him to Lover's Key and also to Sanibel. Had a great time. It was great to be working with journalists again. Also in December was the Gift from the Sea Writers Retreat and Community Celebration. This was in celebration also of the 66th anniversary of the book Gift from the Sea by Anne Morrow Lindbergh. And Francesca Donlin spearheaded this effort with the Writers Retreat and the Community Celebration. 3 generations of the Lindberghs were on hand for this event. Just take note, the little red-haired girl in that bright red bow, that is Charlie, and she is the great-great-granddaughter of Anne Morrow Lindbergh and Charles Lindbergh. And her mother, or her grandmother, Christina Lindbergh, is there also, and they're signing copies of Gift from the Sea. And we had 10 writers in tow for the Writers' Retreat, and it was just a great way. They found all sorts of inspiration, just as Anne Morrow Lindbergh did on Captiva. What to do. Many of you already received the What to Do events listing that comes out every Monday in an email. And what we have new with that this year, or in the last couple of months, is a QR code. We're finding that this is very popular out at RSW. It's one more thing that people can just scan with their QR code with their smartphone instead of having a piece of paper to carry around. And QR, if you don't know, stands for Quick Response, and you can use it right now if you want. And we've had over 200 scans since started on November 23rd. And you can see where it's been very popular with folks in Miami, Indianapolis, Germany, Finland. QR codes are popular everywhere. And if you have something that you'd like to send us for What to Do, feel free to email me, and we'll have it up. Thanks. Upcoming activities include, Shellcast won an award at Governor's Conference, and we wanted to let you know about that. That was back in September. Won a Silver Flagler Award for Creativity and Public Relations. And we've got 2 episodes that are in production with Christina Lindbergh, an interview with her, and a wet walk that the VCB folks recently did at 6 Mile Cypress Slough Preserve. Upcoming press trips and shows, we're also taking advantage of the United Flight direct flight with some writers from Los Angeles that are going to be coming in later in February, and we'll be working up a spring training press trip. And we're also going to be working with Shelley Krant with the travel and adventure shows in Boston, Los Angeles, New York, and Atlanta. We want to wrap it up with letting you know about accolades. And there's just one that I wanted to point out, the second one, the Outside, the 25 best winter trips in the world. So despite the challenges that we've been facing with the pandemic, we continue to land, the destination continues to land on the top of lists. And this story from Outside Magazine, it was one paragraph, 173 words, and we were able to get 4 different industry partners in that coverage. So that's just a testament to our relationships with journalists from around the country and around the world. Thank you from the whole team. And if you have any questions, I'm here to take them.
Any questions?
All right, thank you, Jackie. All right, Mr. Chair, just one more thing for me, and I realized at the beginning I really didn't introduce myself. I don't want to assume everyone knows me, although they should. I'm the VCB dinosaur, been around for a very, very long time. Yeah, in age and tenure. But my name is Pamela Johnson. I'm the Deputy Director. So for those I haven't met formally, I just wanted to introduce myself. And so with that concludes Tam's report this month.
Great, thank you. We won't call you a dinosaur. Don't call me Barney. Okay. Anything for the council? We have any comments or anything?
I have a question. I don't know, maybe Jeff has more insight on it, but are we hearing anything from Boston Red Sox and Minnesota Twins on where they are in terms of how they feel spring training, whether it's going to move forward or not?
Jeff,
back there?
Who wants to?
Mark back there too? I didn't see Mark. Mark, put you on the spot. I didn't see you back there. Hopeful. That's good news. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, for the record, they couldn't help some from the audience say their baseball may be on this year. So. We're not going to say who said that. We don't hold any contracts or anything like that. So I guess we can go to member items. So Tony, you want to start first?
Nothing really on the plate, just hope that my talk will inspire some action on people's programs. So
Yeah.
That's it for me.
Great. Rob?
Nothing for me, thank you.
Colleen?
2 things. One, we have asked Tam to speak at our luncheon on the 27th, and basically, we'll be at the Embassy Suites, and it's basically to talk about the branding and the success of 2020 and 2021. And for those who may not have been able to attend the event when they did the rollout, and kind of share it with the business community, because they're not really, if you're not in the hospitality community, you may not be aware of what's happening, and I think it's important. The other thing is we have created a workforce event, and it'll all be online by the end of the day today. We have Henry Mack coming down from the Florida Department of Education, who's the chancellor. One of the things I've learned going through some leadership and having some of the speakers we have is that there's some great things happening that are helping workforce issues, but they tend to be in their silos, and they tend not to have the opportunity to tell their story or share their story. So like the business community may not know that like Lee County School District might have 5 options for short-term hires. So what we're doing is pulling together all the organizations that do this type of work, both long-term, like the 2 technical colleges, or might be short-term, like career stores, and the school district are doing like a small mini trade show after Henry Mack speaks. And it's on February 4th. It'll be at Broadway Palm Dinner Theater, and that'll go up later on today on the chamber website. But it's basically, I know everybody's short-staffed. One of our colleagues has had to close his restaurant for 3 days because, COVID basically went through the team. So it's things like that. So, hopefully it's going to be efficient. We're going to tell you who does what short-term or long-term so that you can make wise use of your time, because we know it's season and we're short-staffed. But we hope that this might open up doors for people who may not realize some of the things that are happening in our community. So if you have any questions or anything, just feel free to reach out, but that'll be on February 4th. And that's it for me.
Great, thank you. Councilwoman?
None for me.
Just anecdotally, too, from what we're seeing, at least at my resort, over the course of the last few weeks with the variant spiking, we've taken just about $3 million off the books for the first quarter of this year of cancellations from groups that have decided that they're just not going to risk it and they're not going to come. We fortunately have had a lot of really good other group business on the books that have held strong and decided they are. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag. Some won't, some will, depends upon industry, depends upon where they're coming from, it depends upon perception for their company, but that's really what we seem to see making the decisions. So it's a mixed bag. Transient, though, is still holding strong. The individual traveler still just wants to come and vacation, and they just want to get away. And then staffing is still an issue. We are finding more success with high schools for short-term employment and stuff like that as well. But, you know, we still have over 60 positions posted, and I can post another 50 if I needed to right now, just to service what we have coming in the door. So it still is an issue for us, as I'm sure it is for everybody else. Last couple of things, announcements. One, Florida Restaurant Lodging Association, speaking of the issues that we're facing within the industry, on February 17th, we'll be doing a Zoom meeting, and that Zoom meeting is going to be a very timely subject. We will have Cheney Brothers, that will be our guest speaker, and they're going to be talking about all the supply chain issues and what they see from a supply chain outlook for down the road. So it will be really interesting to be able to tune in and hear what a distributor is talking about in terms of what they see are going to be the problems down the road. So if you want to go to the FRLA website, Lois Croft is here. She can give anybody information on how to sign up for that Zoom call as well. After this meeting, it would be a great call to get on and hear what we're facing coming down the road. And then last but not least, I have the privilege this year of being able to serve as the chair of the School of Hospitality's Advisory Board over at FGCU. And we have our big event that's going to be coming on April 22nd. We're excited to bring it back after a hiatus with COVID, and that's Wanderlust. Wanderlust is a big fundraiser for us to be able to do things for the hospitality students that feed our industry. And with us having to take a hiatus over the last few years, it's really put a dent in the coffers of being able to do things for these kids. So there's not a lot of money left for us to be able to support our students that are studying hospitality. This is the event to be able to boost those coffers back up. So we're taking advantage of being able to meet again, and we are doing a couple of extra things that's going to hopefully boost attendance and boost the fundraising that we're going to do. And that's, we're also honoring Dr. Mike Martin, who will still be staying on for a little while longer at FGCU, but at some point he will eventually step down. So we'll be honoring him at this event. And then Michael Watkins, who is the owner of the Naples Beach Hotel, which is closed, we'll be honoring him at the event as well. And we're holding the event at the Ritz-Carlton Beach on April 22nd. So it's going to be a great event. It's going to be a great venue. It's going to have great people there. It's going to have the who's who of hospitality that's there. I'd encourage all of you to attend. There's going to be some incredible auction items for you to bid on at some great prices to be able to get some well-planned and well-needed vacations taken for all of you. The information can be found at www.fgcuwanderlust.com. No periods or anything in between, just fgcuwanderlust.com. Or if you want to reach out to me, I can get you specific information about it as well. But I'll talk about it more as we lead up to it and just putting it out there so you all have it on your radar.
Great, thank you. A lot of good things going on. Yeah. I'm going to be there, so I'm looking forward to being there. Any other items or anything? Everybody having any trouble in getting staff or anything? We're hearing that throughout the community, different private sector. Still having trouble with staffing levels, is still kind of low, still an issue.
Yeah, hiring is a problem, but then you also have, if somebody gets COVID or Omicron, and then you got a contact trace, and you lose 5 or 6 other people along with it, and it's an issue.
Hopefully it'll be a good year this year. Okay, well, thank you. If there's nothing else, we'll go ahead and adjourn. Okay.